Hello, good people. Well, we are back. Soccer is back, yeah. It was off because of COVID-19. Everybody knows that. But that's just a story for another day. Today, I want to show you basic analysis because I've received a number of inboxes, people inboxing me and asking me what do you mean when you say research? What do you look for when you analyze? What apps do you use? Like, what's the simplest way to do it, So I'll try my best to answer those. So now, and I know why people are confused, because there are guys, man, who are good when it comes to analysis. Those guys are so good to such an extent that they go deeper now, of which that's not what I want. Deep analysis, whereby one will say yellow cards, like one will look at yellow cards, players who have yellow cards in this match, the coaches, the bench, the lineup, the next opponents, the next two opponents, like, a lot of things. That's too deep, man. Like, that's just too deep, But yeah, it works. It's beneficial for those guys. But what about something simple, So this is what will happen. Basic analysis, we're not going to look at the simplest one, which is this. I know people now, people prefer this because this is the simplest. They want to know, you see, if you can get this right, if I can give you 10 teams, here, and then you can get them all, then you are super good at predicting, and then do it on the next week again, then it means that you are super good at predicting. You know what I mean? Imagine predicting this three-way market. This three-way market is very tough, guys, because look, it's the simplest thing when you have checked your teams, but still it's tough. Why I'm saying so? Because teams can lose nowadays. Man City, Liverpool, teams can lose nowadays. So saying this team will win, this team will win, this team will be a draw, like, check the odds, for instance. Just look at the odds. You can even place $100 here, and then boom, just place $100 here, and you can get how much? 3,000. You see what I mean? It's the simplest way of predicting, but I don't want you to use these now. I want you to go on more markets. You understand my point? So let's go to more markets so that we can do a basic analysis. So when we go to more markets, so this is what will happen. I want you to choose 3 markets here on more markets. We're just avoiding that three-way market because you can choose it, but it's harder. Not harder, but hey, tricky, guys. So this is what I want you to choose. I want you to choose this one, additional totals. Additional totals is basically the over 1.5, over 2.5, So just choose this one. And the second one is looking for the second one now. You can also choose this, but I don't, you can also choose this first half totals, but no, let's just forget it for now. Just keep these in mind. You can take a piece of paper and write them down. First one is additional totals. Additional totals, and there we go. Home, multi-goals, home or away. You see, these are 2, but this is basically one market, you understand? Because it's either you choose one or you choose the other. So this is the second one that you must choose. And third but not last, the best one, multi-goals. This one will never let you down. This one, it hardly let you down. And I got that confirmation because people have been telling me that, look, I've managed to win some money using this, so it's a good one. I can also agree. So I'm saying, okay, good. You understand? So now I can get really clarity, like real clarity that this market is good. Multi-goals, basically this market is this, this, especially in matches whereby you hardly get a scoreline of 0-0, because this market is good. And another thing, guys, when you're choosing markets, it's very good to choose markets that will sort of depend on both teams. When I told you about the top 10 rules, I've mentioned that. I've mentioned that you must choose markets when you're betting. You must choose markets that won't let you down, man. For instance, when you're saying Man City will win, let's say Man City is playing against Liverpool and you say Man City will win, that market is very dangerous now because you are depending on Man City. If Liverpool score first, your sugar levels go up, man, because you are worried now. Man City must score 2 goals. Are you getting my point? I'm not saying it's bad, but when you're doing safe bets, it's always good to choose those markets. You understand my point? Because it's always good to choose those markets that are that will make you depend on 2 teams. Example of that is the first market that I told you here, the additional totals. Additional totals is based, let's say you said over 1.5 in a match. When you say over 1.5, what does that mean? That means that whoever scores, are you getting my point? Whoever scores, it doesn't matter. You see this? This is it. You say over 1.5. Whoever scores, yeah, you don't care. You don't give a damn. You know what I mean? Because you're depending on both teams here. Any team can score, if your favorite team is losing, but who cares? Because your market is good. It's a market that favors both teams. So as I have said that, it must be a market that depends on both teams, not on one team, because you're crucifying yourself there. So nevertheless, and also you must choose markets that are irreversible, guys. I will tell you, I will make a short clip on my next video. I will make a short clip telling you about irreversible markets. I will tell you about that. It's a simple thing, man, but not now. Now I want you to focus on these analysis. I hope you got them. You wrote them on a piece of paper, the additional totals, the multi-goals home or away, and the multi-goals themselves. Now let's go. Here I have my app that I use, SofaScore. Yep, I use this app, and I have chosen matches already that I want to choose from. I don't want to go up and down, coming here, so I've decided to mark those. You see, I've decided to sort of set an alarm. Yeah, this app is good because it reminds me whenever there's a goal. Once I set this, whenever there's a goal, it reminds me, just give me a notification. But nevertheless, let's choose. These are the matches that I will choose from. I will make an example with just 2 teams, guys, or 3 teams. Or let me rather make an example and put money live now, as you can see, even if it just allows it $20. So now this is what I will do. LASK. Let me start with the LASK. This is a Bundesliga in Australia. In Austria, I mean. This is LASK versus Wolfsberger. First of all, check standings. This one is the easiest one. But standing doesn't give you a clarity, guys. It doesn't give you a clear indication of who will win, But, I mean, they contribute standings. They contribute, even if it's 2%, they contribute. At least LASK there stands a better chance in terms of contribution, of course. But that's why I'm saying it's contributing 2%, because it's not a clarity, man. It's not a good indication that it will win because it's on top. You know what I'm saying? It's ranking higher than this, the other team. So we'll go to matches right away. But you can see there, guys, the point difference, man. You can see that, look, these are good teams. When you go here, just check here. The head-to-head stats. You can also check here. These are also head-to-head stats. The first half winner in most cases. First half winner when these 2 teams meet. LASK is always winning. 4 out of 5 times is always winning. The first time is always the first team to score, When these 2 teams meet, they always produce more than 2.5 goals. We'll see that. Head-to-head stats. Look who has the upper hand. LASK, of course. You see, 6 times. And then this one won only 2 times, meaning this team hardly beats LASK. You understand what I mean? But let's check the previous scores of the meetings. Look at this. And when you're checking the previous scores, guys, just don't go as far as 2016. You see this? Don't go as far as this. Why I'm saying this? It's because the players that are available in this team. I will make a quick example with Liverpool. The group of players that are there is a chance that in 2 years' time, they are still there. You understand what I mean? But in 4 years' time, they are not there because they have changed teams. You know what I mean? So it means now the what is this? The form of the team is no longer the same because of those players are not there. But that's not always the case. Sometimes the players are not there, but the team is even much stronger. But nevertheless, so I say go as far as 2 years back, not more than that. This is what happens. Look at this. 2018, LASK won 2-0. 2018 again on December, LASK, it was a draw of 1-1. Wolfsberg, on 2019, 3-0. They beat them. They were whooping Wolfsberg, Even though they had the red cards here on this match again, 2019, Wolfsberg was beaten 3-0. I don't know why it was 1-0, but that's just the game. And look at this one. LASK again, boom, they were beaten Wolfsburg 3-1. But if you notice here on this 1-0, it's whereby Wolfsburg won. This is one of their wins against, and it's a close win. You know what I mean? If you want to do deep analysis then, but we're not focusing on that. You can go in, but never mind. But what do you notice now? This is what happens. What do you notice on this? Now that you got the head-to-head stats, the standing and the head-to-head stats, you see who wins the most between these two. You can see that already you are going back. You are sort of like favoring last year to win this match, eh? But now, we're not going on straight wins. What other things that can give us clarity that these teams, there will be goals here, or, at the previous meetings? You see, look at this, their previous meetings and their goals. What do you notice out of these meetings? Let me tell you what I've noticed on these previous meetings is that there's never been a 0-0. Of course, they probably should. There was, a long time ago there, 2017, but I told you don't go as far as 2017. Let's go as far as 2018, because of the form is not the same. Maybe some players are not there. You know what I mean? So, what do you notice is that there's always at least a goal in this match. But at least a goal is an understatement, because it's only one match. It's only this meeting whereby there was only one goal. Other than that, there was more than one goal. You understand what I mean? That means over 1.5. Are you getting the point? So when you go back to your dangases here, but I think we must go back must choose a relevant team now, because we are on LASK, Matches, Soccer. We are in Austria. Where is Austria? There's Austria. There's this meeting. It's a championship round. There we go, LASK. So now, it means that once you go to this market, your clean research tells you that this market is over 1.5. You know what I mean? That's sort of a clear indication, not clear, but I mean, by looking at the past matches and seeing the meetings on these teams, and just look at this, man. These are a lot of goals. You can say that, but if you're not convinced, look on another markets out of this market that you've chosen. The second one was this. This was the first one. The second one was multi-goals home or away team. What do you notice there? You notice that on the previous meetings, okay, LASK is always scoring, of course, because it's the favorite team. LASK is always scoring, but here it was a draw here. But still, LASK managed to score. Never mind about this one. It's only one instant whereby LASK never scored. Let's check previous meetings. LASK score. But let's not go this further, 2017. You notice that LASK have been scoring here. So what does that mean about LASK? It means that LASK is a scoring team, irregardless of whether it will win or lose, but LASK is a scoring team. Are you getting my point? So now you are sort of stabilizing now. You are sort of, emphasizing your analysis that LASK, it can score. So now, which market now is best suited for LASK out of the market that you have chosen, the three markets? Are you getting the point? Which markets? Are you getting my point? You've noticed that these two matches produce goals, this team, when they meet. And you've noticed that a home team, which is LASK, it's always scoring. But now, when you're saying home multi-goals, do you think LASK, out of these meetings, have scored more than 3? No. So it means LASK is also suited here, because the previous meetings are saying so. Are you getting my point? Unless it can only be today, whereby it can score 4 and then it can be a disappointment. But you've noticed that it's scoring, but not more than 3. I've noticed. Look at this. I've noticed. But let's not go further until there. But you can see if you want to go further, but let's not go further until there. I told you. You see? So it's an indication that, oh, damn, even if LASK can lose here, but LASK has an ability of scoring. Are you getting my point? LASK has an ability of scoring, even if it score 1 goal, as it happened there on that draw. Are you getting my point? So this market is not a bad market at all. So that's the analysis, the basic analysis that I'm telling you guys. If you have your paper, you are still marking this, you just say, okay, LASK is best suited in this market, and then you go further again. LASK is also best suited in this market, that multi-goal, and even on that additional thing over 1.5, even here, when you say At least you see this market is a market that sort of depends on both teams. You know, it favors both teams, this market. You don't have to worry that, okay, now I'm choosing Lask. You see? Do you notice that on their meetings again, when you're going to choose this market, you have to go back again and be like, okay, when I combine the scores, the highest goals when I've combined out of their meetings is 6, which is the latest one. You see? 3. You notice? That means, okay, they never scored more than 6. What does that mean now? It means that maybe they can score 1, but not more than 6. That means the first one is good. Or maybe because of they are good teams and they always produce more than 1 goal, it means that 2 to 6 is the best suited. Are you getting my point? Or you can take your chances and say 2 to 5. You know? So I'm just saying, guys. So these are the things that you do when you're analyzing. You're like, oh, okay, I see. You know what I mean? You look at these things, you choose them. Are you getting my point? So let's go to the next one now. Just quickly, the second one, because this video is already long. So I'll choose the second one. Let's go to a different league rather. Panikios PAOK in Greece. Let's analyze this too. Firstly, standings. Look at that. PAOK, and look at the point difference. Okay, we said that standings don't contribute that much, but look, we can say they contribute 2%. And then we go to matches right away. Wow, matches, head-to-head stat. You can see that these teams, when they meet, they always score each other, but we'll see that. Let's first check the head-to-head. PAOK has the upper hand here because they won 6 times and RS only won 4 times and they draw 8. Let's go. You don't go further than this. I think stick to 2018 or because this is 2014 this. It was both teams, but just stick here. What do you notice? Both teams to score. These teams are both good teams and they score when they meet. But isn't that a risk? I don't know. You can choose another market that is, you know, literally like that is a list that is sort of close to both teams, or you know what I mean? That's a hint that, oh, okay, if these teams, when they meet, as this thing said, yeah, that look, out of 9 meetings, both teams happened in all of those 9 meetings. You can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the previous 9 they are talking about, you know? So that's a hint. That's a good hint. If both teams can score, it means that these teams also produce more goals, more than 1 goal. Are you getting the point? It means that over 1.5 is also suitable for this. You're getting the point. If now these teams over 1.5 is suited, what does that mean now? Let's go check the favorite one, PAOK, because it has the upper hand. When it scores, how many goals does it score? Does it score more than 1? Does it score 2? You know what I mean? But at least they score when they score. You know what I mean? In a match, they score. It hardly happens that they sort of end the match with 0 goals, even if they lose, but they score. Are you getting my point? Let's check in instant where they lost the match. 4-2. Yeah, it's the recent one. They lost the 4-2, but what happened? They score. What does that mean? You go back to your markets on your paper. You check. Oh, this was the previous market that we checked. You can also check. You can go home here, and then you go to soccer. From soccer, you go to Greece. It's a bit slow now. But never mind. You go to Greece, you check that market. You also select the suitable market. Are you getting my point? You check the suitable market for these. You understand what I mean? From out of those markets that you have written down or you've kept in mind, you know, I told you just write them on a piece of paper. But the point that I'm making here, guys, you can see the point that I'm making. Analysis is not that hard. It's basically what you look for in a team. You get my point? If they didn't go through, it will probably be one team, man. It's probably that bad luck that keeps on happening. Probably one team. Are you getting my point? But those guys who are big analyzers, deep analysis will tell you why. They will go deep and go to the lineups and tell you, certain players were not available. But we don't look at those things, you know. But this is the simplest one. If you can use this simplest method of analyzing, and then choose few teams, stick to your top 10 roles, I'm telling you, You can make money, guys. You know, I wish I had the time now to place a bet. I wish I had the time to place a bet. I just wish I had the time, but even the network now is giving me problems. But nevertheless, guys, tell me what you think on this video. I have to cut it short, but just tell me what you think. I will continue, as I promised that I will continue post another video about the reverse markets. Just remember that your next video is the reverse markets, you know, the irreversible markets, I mean. So yeah, that's what I will be focusing on my next video. But yeah, just tell me what you think, as you know that sharing is caring. Not everything that I say is 100%. Not everything that I say is it's not like whatever I say goes, you know. You also have your own opinion. You also have counter arguments, which is good. That's what must happen for us to make money. Just tell me, give me your input, what you think. You can even add so that I can go back and make another video and edit and put what you said on the video, because some of the things that I've said here, I've got from you guys, you know, by sort of commenting and tell me how do you get these. So I always get other things from you. I'm answering your question in most cases. So give me your input and tell me what you think, and I'll go back and I'll make another video. Stay safe.